to give for those poor victims, and of course our sympathies must go to all those victims that they've had suffered. But I have a solution to the particular issue, and that is that we should remember the history, the long history of this conflict. When partition took place, and the United Kingdom obviously clearly had the role of partitioning India and Pakistan, it created a partition which was never going to last. The concept of East and West Pakistan as one country, separated by India, was never going to stand the test of time, and clearly didn't, and Bangladesh came from it. But equally, the Maharaja decided to cede the territory to India. The Pakistani government and the Pakistani forces refused to accept that decision and invaded. And it was at the behest then of the Maharaja that the Indian army moved in to try and wrest control back, as was originally the purpose. So let's be clear, that's 1947. We can therefore go through the rest of the history over the last 70 years, or 60 or 70 years, of what has happened in this conflict, and say it is terrible that it has continued, but it's quite clear where the responsibility lies for that conflict. And we must place that fairly and squarely in the behest of the Pakistanis and their successive governments. But I won't give way because we don't have injury time on to have that. As has been mentioned, we have a democracy within Jammu and Kashmir. In actual fact, we have a predominant Muslim majority in Jammu and Kashmir. They voted overwhelmingly in the elections, as the Honourable Member for Brent North put, and they came up with a decisive result. It may not be the result that everyone wants, however, it was a decisive result. And quite clearly, we should not be, and one of the issues I think is right about this, we should, when we debate these issues, just as Jammu and Kashmir are about to go to the polls, the risk is that we inflame tensions between the various different communities. So I think we should understand the position of the various different groups in Jammu and Kashmir. The Shia Muslims do not support the right for self-determination. The Gujars and Bakawaras do not support it. The Buddhists don't support it. The Hindi Doggers do not support it. The Kashmiri Pandits do not support it. Sikhs and Christians do not support it. So the only issue is that some part of the Muslim population do support it, but they are actually a minority. So the clear point here is that far from being a position whereby the majority of the population is wanting succession either to Pakistan or as a separate state, far from it. The position now is that the vast majority of people within that state want to remain part of India. So I have a solution to the problem, and that is that the Pakistani forces illegally occupying part of Kashmir should leave and unite Jammu and Kashmir as one state under the auspices of India, and then determine what happens. Equally, it would be absolutely ridiculous that the Hindu Pandits who were forced out in a process of ethnic cleansing, 700,000 is the reports that I hear of those people still living in refugee camps, forced out. So you reward those that ethnically cleanse by them saying, I won't give way, but reward those people that ethnically cleanse by saying, we get rid of all the people that might vote the wrong way, and then we have a plebiscite. Absolutely absurd to represent it in that sort of way. So I take the view of saying that there are humanitarian areas in this conflict that need to be concluded. The people that are, of course, the victims are the Pandits who were forced out of their homes, the women who were forced to convert from Hinduism to Islam at the point of a gun, and they were left to suffer accordingly. So we should be clear that the position is that when you look at the populations that exist within Jammu and Kashmir, they trust the secular state of India, which of course has a growing Muslim population, a Sikh population, a Christian population, to actually administer their country, rather more than a Pakistani administration, which is predominantly Muslim, and any minority groups in Pakistan, Hindus, Christians, Sikhs and others, are deliberately persecuted in Pakistan and therefore suffer at the hands of the particular government of the day. So, It is now some 25 years since we had the worst atrocities in the Kashmir Valley, and the Hindus were driven out by the Islamic fundamentalists. We should be on the side of those people that have suffered and make sure those people who are in exile have the right to return to the homes which they've occupied literally for centuries. And without doubt, that is the way that we should be positioning ourselves in saying, and I look forward to the Minister saying this, that we stand as a country full square behind the Indian government and the Indian Army in ensuring that there is peace and stability within the region.